sweet line. Sheriff Miller by his side. Lively blue grass, hearts alive.
Well, this morning it's not Sheriff Miller by his side. It's Sheriff Miller right here, front and center. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
And, of course, Curries Hot Stove League brought to you by Zott's Bar and Grill and by Big Rapids Tire. So I got a room full of guests, so I'm just going to turn it right over to you.
Right. Well, Pat's he's gone.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Yep.
So maybe a little bit less interruption and such. But so today we have our guest host, John Zacco. And our two guests today are Beale City head baseball coach Brad Ancliffe and Chippewa Hills head baseball coach Ben Wright. Baseball season, I think you guys got tryouts this week, if I'm not mistaken. They started Monday?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the weather's getting... I don't know if you could have a better week for, tryouts than what we've had so far. I don't know if you guys have gotten outside much, but...
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the grass is still a little bit wet, but I mean...
Get you right up on the mic.
It's a little bit wet outside, but I mean, it's been decent as far as being outside and throwing and stuff like that. So.
Right, because a lot of times this time of year, I think tryouts, softball, baseball, you guys are in the gym a lot of times, doing that, and it just doesn't give you that feel of what baseball really is.
Yeah. I've done this 20-some years, and we've only been outside on day one like twice, so this is really weird for us. And you kind of get to that first inning, you go, what do we do outside the first day?
No kidding.
But I don't know, so... It's been fun, though. It's been better to be outside. We're not breaking stuff. Don't have to fix windows and bleachers and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, backboards. Or,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I guess we'll kind of start here. We'll go around the room, tell a little bit about who you are, and then we'll kind of get into last season, what it meant, and getting into this season, expectations, and your team, and where you see yourself at the end of the year. Because, again, it's always important. It's not where you are right now. It's where you are here come June. So we'll start with John, have him introduce himself, tell a little bit about himself, and then we'll kind of go to Brad, Ben, and then we'll kind of get right into their teams.
I'm John Zacco. You want me to tell me where I work, or, I mean...
You've done this before. Just tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, the reason I brought you on because I knew you'd feel uncomfortable. So go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brian. I appreciate that. Yeah. But so, what do you?
Born and raised in Connecticut.
Yeah, born and raised in Connecticut. Played a lot of baseball. I coached a lot of travel ball. I coached Crossroads when it first came. I think I coached there about 6 years. Then I went to Big Rapids JV, helped Coach Easler and Coach Doherty. So I know a little bit about the sport. But that's about it. I came here, played football for Ferris State University for about 2.5 years. Stayed, got married, had some kids. I have a senior in high school that's playing baseball this year. Just got done with hockey. He did play tennis too. So he's committed to Alpena Community College to play baseball for a couple of years. So he's pretty excited about that. So that's about it.
All right, Brad.
We got to talk about his daughter too.
Noel,
yeah, I got a daughter.
Right.
Got to talk about Noel.
Yeah,
and
Noel.
a good baseball player.
Yeah, Noel.
And she's playing baseball. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep. Noel, I have a daughter. Noel. Just got done with AAA hockey down Grand Rapids, Fox Motors. Lost in the championship game. So if we won that, we would have went to Boston. But she plays travel baseball with the boys, even though she's a girl. So she's been doing that for about 4 years with the boys. Pretty proud of her. So she does a wonderful job.
Good.
Yeah. Brad Ancliffe, Beale City High School. I've coached for a minute. I was at Chip Hills for a while, helped out there, and transferred over to Beale, and coached a little bit of football at Chip Hills as well. Coached football, basketball, girls basketball, softball, and baseball, all at Beale. It said we had last season we were fortunate enough to win our second state championship in a row. That's as a coach, that's my fourth So we've won back-to-back both times. So it's been pretty cool that both teams. So we're going to shoot for a three-peat this year. And being a part of the football program, we just won the state title in football this year. So it's been a ride, you know. The only thing is, like Ben and I talked, you don't get paid extra to win state titles, but it's a fun ride to do it, you know,
Right.
especially for the kids. And I have 3 daughters, and actually Paige plays at Fair State University softball. They play today.
They're in Florida, right?
They're in Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a trip to Hawaii.
What are you doing here? You should be in Florida too.
I should be. You're not wrong.
He's got to work with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boss-
I don't let him out.
Boss wouldn't let me have the day off.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're playing today, and she's catching for them, and having a good time. It's been fun. Game
Following
days.
Dad's footsteps.
Yeah, well, she actually did, and that's the conversation we had. She didn't start catching until she was 13 or 14, and you know, she was a shortstop and worked on a little bit of pitching. And her sister Natalie, they're twins. She played outfield, and you know, they both had opportunities to go to play college. Natalie got injured, had an injury, so she didn't play. But Paige played 2 years at Lansing and got a nice little offer from, you know, Fair State, and enjoying that, playing with Riley Heist and Hannah Smith, a couple of Big Rapids girls. So it's been a busy but fun ride.
I got to enjoy the ride too because I know Brad a very long time. I think we
Yeah.
worked for 30 to
Yeah.
28
Well,
years
they-
together.
Well, that's awesome. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
you guys
I
started off
remember-
as juvenile probation officers.
So
Yep.
I remember the twins when they're born.
Yep.
So it's great to see them.
So we're funny
I know
talking
her.
about that. And yesterday I was talking with somebody, Jason Lisinski and I were doing a career fair over at Big Rapids Middle School, and we were talking to somebody, and Brad came up, and I'm like, yeah, you know, when I had that problem kid when I was in the schools, if I couldn't get through to him, I knew somebody that could. So there were multiple times I would make road trips from the middle school or the elementary school over to the Mecosta County Probate Court.
Yep.
And sit down with the mountain of a man,
Yeah.
and you know, just if that didn't scare you straight, nothing would. So
Yeah. Well, that worked a lot because when Mr. Wright here was the principal at Chip
Dean
Hills-
of Students, not
Dean of
principal.
Students. I apologize.
Get that out there.
Yeah,
I gotta
Dean of Students.
correct myself. Thank you for that. But Dean of Students, and that worked quite a bit. I get a lot of phone calls of, hey, you want to swing by and you know, give a little chat to this student or that student, and you know, that's what it's about. I mean, we're here for kids, and,
Right.
and that's why we all do what we do.
right, all right, Ben.
Oh, okay. Shoot, I don't know. I've been coaching for 22 years. I grew up in Mount Pleasant, played baseball at Sacred Heart, had a lot of success there, went on to play at Elma College, jumped right into teaching and coaching. I coached 2 years at Montebello, then I was at Chip, and had a lot of success, had a lot of fun. I know these two cats for a long time. They were
Yeah.
a lot of them when I first started, long time.
Yeah.
So it's really good to see this, and there's a lot of fun when you get to sit down like this and talk to Brad and Zacho, because we shared a lot of fun times back and forth.
Absolutely.
Back in 13, we were both in the state finals together at the same time.
That is awesome.
And we always keep in touch base, see how things are going. And yeah, I've had a lot of fun. Coached a lot of great kids, had a lot of success. Coached a lot of summer ball. I coached 10 years for Midland Berry Hill on an American Legion team. Got to go to 7 World Series with them and coached a lot of really good players. Some guys that are in the major leagues right now. So I've been around the block a minute.
So Midland were they Little League last year or American Legion last
They
year?
were Legion. They won it last year.
Yeah,
They
that's
took
what I
second.
thought.
Well, they took second. I was watching on ESPN.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And did you coach that or?
Last year was the first summer I didn't coach. The previous 10 summers I did.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's a lot of fun and learned a lot of great things and great people and great kids. That's what it's all about, like Brad said.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing that we talk a lot about is, you know, and everyone in their own profession. I'm sure you talk to other sheriffs and so whatnot. That's what we do, a lot of just like spitballing,
Right.
if you will, and different ideas. I just talked to one of my buddies from Clare that we just were talking about how do you handle situations, different, and not even, you know, within the sport with the kids or the parents or the, you know, whatever it may be.
Parents,
So-
you got parent issues, Brad?
No, nobody has those. You know that. So yeah, just different things that you can sit and talk about and just run by other people that are in the same field, if you will.
You're right. Well, I mean, we have that with the sheriffs. We have what's called an iServe email, and sheriff will put something out. Hey, I'm dealing with this. I have this. What's everybody else have? And everybody, you know, there's 83 counties in the state of Michigan, so everybody will chip in and say, this is what we have.
Yeah.
This is what we do. And you know, when I first took office back in 21, you know, I didn't have any administrative history coming from where I did, and I can tell you, you know, the sheriff and undersheriff in Newaygo County, which butts up to us. I was on the drug team with them 25 years ago, 26, 27 years ago, and they were mentors to me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Newaygo's very similar to us, and just we had that relationship. So, you know, weekly I was getting a hold of them saying, hey, I got this.
Yep.
What do you guys do?
For sure.
So that's always important, is to have those mentors. Or
It's good to have the relationship with other kids. You learn a lot from other baseball coaches or any
Right.
profession.
well, if somebody says, you know, you learn every day. If you're not learning, you're dying, I guess, for lack of of a
Right.
better term. So, you know, I think that's important. So let's talk about last year for Beale City, back-to-back championships. I remember watching yours, and just, you know, excited for you. I've known you a long time. You know, you had 3 All-Staters, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Josh
Wilson,
Caden
Smith,
and Ross Fuss.
Josh Wilson, and Jack Fussman.
Yep, Jack. Yep.
Caden Smith, actually, Rick Smith.
Yep.
is his
All right.
dad.
Yeah, I've known Rick
Yeah, and the
a
Big
long
Rapids
time.
product.
Yeah.
I played with him at Central for a minute. Played baseball at Central Michigan University and played with Rick. It's been super cool. I coached his daughter, Kelsey,
Mm-hmm.
Rick and Ann's daughter, and then Kelsey, Carly, and then we coached Caden last year, or last 2 years, and he's now at Central
And
Michigan.
doing very well.
Yes, he's
And,
starting
yep.
shortstop.
And pitching, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now I have Kyler as a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been awesome to know Rick from playing with him and then coaching his kids, and which means that Rick's old. I'm not. But no, and it was a great run. You know, Caden through the state finals, and the first player ever. It's not recognized by the MHSA because it wasn't a
No
complete
hitter?
7-inning, but it was a perfect game.
Perfect game.
No walks, no errors, no hits.
That's outstanding.
So we will. That's on our state title rings. We have it on there. It's a perfect game. I mean, they may not recognize it, but we could have played 50 innings, and he was on. And this is one of those days where he was on, and
He was on at travel ball too. Through
Yeah, 'cause he
I
played-
mean,
Now, did he play with Midland?
He
Yes.
played on the Bear Hill
On the
team.
Midland team.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
And actually, it was cool because, I mean, they lost, but the coach from, I can't remember who they lost to last year.
Troy, Alabama.
Alabama team. He did an interview afterwards, and he complimented Caden on just being the best athlete in the tournament. And that's huge. I mean, from Beale City, a Division IV school that maybe some people don't give us the respect because we are D4, but we don't.
Well,
we play anybody.
not anymore.
Yeah, we
No.
play. We'll play anybody. And that's kind of our motto is, if we lose in the regular season, we don't. That's fine. We're trying to get ourselves ready for the tournament. So, but it was awesome to see Caden and ESPN Plus. I mean, Central
Right.
Michigan University's on it pretty much every other game. I watched him last night, so that's kind of a cool gig to be able to see him play. And like Ben said, that's what it's about. It's these kids playing at the next level. I take, honestly, and some people may think this is a little crazy, but I take more pride in that. State titles are great for the kids, great for the community. And I'm not going to give it away, but obviously seeing the kid play at the next level, and it doesn't matter to me if it's junior college or if it's MLB. That's awesome.
Yeah, having impacts, making it they want to go to the next level and continue to play something that you coach them in is a big part of why I do this. And I know Brad's saying the same thing, but it's when I was young, it's probably all about me, and I was worried about winning and blah blah blah. But I've really learned that it has nothing to do with me and my success or things of that nature. It's everything to do with the kids, and having them have a little bit of fun and experience and memories is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you think maybe sometimes some younger coaches kind of make it about them? think,
Yeah, for sure.
you
Don't
know,
worry about more wins and losses
yes, instead of development.
And I tell you right now, I could not tell you how many. It's 300 some wins. I couldn't tell you exactly, but as a coach, I have 78 losses. I know that. I know, and that's.
Well, actually, I looked it up this morning. Let me tell you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I tried preparing 375.
Well, you gotta get the softball in.
375, 78, and 5, and the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there.
That's just baseball, though. You coach softball. Or you coach softball too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how
So-
many years? 4 years. Softball.
3 or 4, yeah, something like that. So, but yeah, that's what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
and I get the guys that come in and it's about winning state titles. And I mean, it's hard. I mean, I've been very fortunate.
You got to start somewhere, though. You can't just
Absolutely.
come and say, "Yeah, we're going to win the state title." There's need to be a foundation. It just doesn't happen overnight. There needs to be a foundation. It takes a number of years sometimes to get that program and to get buy-in.
Absolutely, and you have to have a great spouse. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
Because my wife is.
Thank you, Lisa.
Good plug. Good plug.
You like that? Thanks. But no, seriously. I mean, Ben can attest to that too. It's coaching 2 sports. At one point, I was coaching all 3 varsity. I was
That's
coaching
crazy.
football, girls basketball, and baseball. And you know, my kids. You know, I wasn't maybe there all the time for them. And when I was coaching football, but they were there. They were at every game. Paige was the manager from, the 6th grade on up, and she was in the dugout with the guys, and or she was our ball girl, if you will, in football. And Natalie was there in the stands every game. Kelsey, our oldest daughter, was there as well. But you have to have there's players' wives, or coaches' wives, I'm sorry. And, you have to have a wife that's, my wife did a great job of raising our kids. And that's something I'm very proud of that as well.
So Ben, last year, let's talk about you guys. I know you got a big player coming back, Austin Humphrey we talked about Beale City having 3 All-Staters, but
Yeah.
you had an All-Stater, and if I'm not mistaken, coming back for his senior year. But let's talk about last year first. And then,
Yeah, last year I had I think 6 or 7 quality seniors that graduated. We took 2nd place in the league behind Big Rapids. I think we won 21 games, and we had a really good team. And that was a team that people forget about this. They were COVID freshmen, so they lost their freshman season, and so had those guys for about 3 years, and their growth and their development throughout was really, really cool. And the idea that they played their best baseball their senior year is really, really awesome. Hunter Sellers, Tyler Gear, they're a couple guys that really carried us last year. And like Brad talks about successes of seeing them going on. I've got one of those that wanted to come back and volunteer with my JV team this year as a coach, which is really awesome. Those are the things that you talk about. And we do return some players. We return Austin Humphrey. Gage Perkins is another senior that we bring back. We've got a couple juniors that were up last year. So we've got a nice group of kids. We've got a good number of kids out and a lot of youngsters. So, we'll see what we can do. I'm not sitting here saying we're going to compete for state titles or anything like that, but my whole thing is to compete every day and try to compete for league, and we'll see what happens in the district and so forth. We hope we'd be able to do that.
you guys won 8 of 9 at one point last year, later in the season, right?
Sure.
I think you guys.
I don't remember, but
Okay,
we went on a little
I
run.
think that was true because we're coming up against you, and they're like, they're on a
Yeah, you guys were on a
Big
little roll.
Rapids.
Like somewhere near the end of the season, I remember
Yeah.
you guys had won 8 or 9 or 8 of 9, and kind of were on a little bit of a roll.
Yeah, and that's what it takes in baseball. Baseball, the best team doesn't necessarily win on every day. If a pitcher's off or hitters are on, it really makes a difference. So, we try to get better towards the end of the year and try to make some noise in the tournament. We've had some success in the past, and that's what you shoot for.
So coming into this year, I know you guys lost 9 seniors, if I'm not mistaken. So Beale City lost 9 last year. You guys are down 6 or 7, Ben.
Yep.
Really, that's a pretty big number of players when you look at having maybe 15 on the team or 16 on the team, carrying 15 or 16 to lose that. I think it all, John, our boys play hockey, and at the last hockey game, I immediately texted 4 or 5 of the juniors and said, nice season, keep your head high. Next year starts tomorrow. You know,
Absolutely.
really. And I'm pretty big on that, getting prepared, and whether you're playing other sports or not. And I think you should be playing other sports and not just one.
Right. Absolutely.
But I think you know that's really important.
As a smaller community, you have to play 2 or 3 sports.
Got to have 3 sports.
You got to play because we don't have that student body where they can just play one sport.
Right.
Like,
And I'm not sure how healthy that is, really. You know, to be playing something year round, or you know, your body needs a break. You know,
everyone says you want a 3-sport athlete to go to college. You know,
sure.
that's what everyone says.
So with tryouts, my son Monday night is trying out for the varsity team. He's a junior, and I got home from work and he's in bed. I'm like, "What do you know? This is after practice. What are you doing?" "I'm sore, Dad." You know, I mean, he just got done with
different
hockey,
muscles,
but you're using different muscles.
absolutely,
You know, whether you're going from football to hockey or football to base or basketball to baseball, you're using different muscles.
Yep.
You
For
know,
sure.
You know, when you talk about coming into a season, the thing that I try to do is not even talk about last year, because that's not fair to the current team and the current juniors that are now seniors. We recognize our history and the successes that we've had, but we've got to build this year and build
Right.
this chapter. And I think that's the one thing that people can get caught up when they're young is, oh, but last year we were this and that. Well, it's over, you know. Or like, and I don't talk about next year either, because that's so far away. You have no idea what's going to happen. So you really got to focus on the day-to-day stuff right now and get your team mentally prepared and physically prepared and see what you can do.
right? It's okay to respect the past and who came before you
Yeah,
and what
for
you
sure.
did, but
Recognize
don't
it.
dwell on it.
Yep.
Good or bad.
Right.
You
Right.
know. So let's talk about this year coming up for Beale City. You guys are in the
Before we do
jackpot.
that, Brian, why don't we take a quick break?
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do. We have to take care of our sponsor. Sorry.
All right, we're on a roll.
We'll be right back with more of Curry's Hot Stove League coming up. Come say cheers at Zott's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zott's, people's choice for best soup. You don't want to miss their award-winning burgers and chili as well. Originally opened in 1933 and serving it up ever since. Seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Roxanne and Doug at Zott's Bar and Grill are proud sponsors of the Signature Player of the Week for the Curry's Hot Stove League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. All right, we're back. The computer went dead on me here, so we're gonna.
Okay,
See,
well-
you gave the message to the computer, and it says no.
Right.
You want to come back? So.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Back to you, and I'm gonna work on
a
this.
little bit of a roll. Yeah, and I wasn't sure how it would go without Pat, but I think we're doing all right. Thanks, John.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, baby Sacco.
Yeah, so this coming year, I guess, like I said, let's talk about expectations for this year. I know with you got some pitching.
Yeah.
You got some pitching. Blake Walcott.
Blake Walcott is back. As a sophomore, he logged quite a few innings for us. We have Kyler Smith.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
What's he play now?
he's short. He's infield pitch.
Okay,
Yeah.
like his brother.
Yeah, pretty much same thing. Is he's going to be on the infield for us and pitch. And we got Owen McKinney, my senior. That he logged quite a few innings for us last year. So, I mean, we're always the motto of we're not we're reloading. We're not rebuilding anything. So, and our expectations aren't going to change. We expect to be in East Lansing.
Right.
That's a goal. I mean, if we don't reach the goal, we don't reach the goal. But that's the expectation these guys have. They want to get there. They don't want to be the team to lose the streak. But we also don't talk about it. I mean, it's there. We know it. It's nice to maybe not have the pressure that we had the last 2 years. I mean, especially last year. I mean, that's you're 18, 17, 16. I mean, Blake, I think, was 15 last year. And there was the expectation of us winning a state title. And great, but it also, it's a lot to put on kids. And we didn't talk about it last year. We're not going to talk about it this year. But yeah, we have the goal. We are going to be young. We know that. But the nice thing is we're just going to play. I mean, we're going to go out and have. I mean, I've probably had more fun the last 2 days of practice without the expectation than we have in a minute. It's been nice to kind of let the guys be kids and, joke around and have fun and a lot of smiles. Not that we didn't have that last year, but it's, we're not as intense, if you will.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, our schedule's the same. We're going to possibly take some lumps, but the last time I checked, everybody gets in the tournament. So we'll see what happens.
And in your conference, are you the Jack Pine?
No, we're in the Highland Conference.
Highland Conference.
So we're in with Everett.
Okay, Everett and
Pine River and schools like that. So, that's going to be tough. Everett's going to be solid.
Yeah. Aiden.
Yep.
Aiden.
Aiden's there.
Anderson.
Aiden Anderson was in here, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
For basketball, but
Okay.
yep.
And then he's Josh's son. He's
Yep.
there as well. So they're going to have a 1-2 pitching staff, and same thing they had last year.
Right. And he's only a junior.
Yeah. So I mean, we we're gonna do our best, and like Ben said, I mean, we're just gonna go out and play the game and have fun with it, and if we can stay 70 degrees, that'll be nice.
That's a good point. That's a really good
Yeah.
point.
Friday's
the
gonna
problem.
be 72.
Yeah, the problem is you get back from spring break, and
Oh,
then
I know.
hopefully we keep our fingers crossed,
I
and
know. I keep looking at the extended forecast, and right now it looks pretty
It's
good.
not worth it.
Because yesterday
gonna
was supposed to be
rain.
mid 40s, and it was
Yeah, it's
chilly.
Well, I got travel baseball practice for my 11-year-old Saturday, and I'm thinking,
I
well,
might get outside.
you might be outside instead of being in the gym like
Yeah.
we have been.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Ben, what about you guys?
Yeah, we expect to be competitive. We expect to come out and try to play the game the right way. If the ball bounces in our favor, we're going to win some games. If it doesn't, we're going to lose some games. I want to reiterate what Brad said. If you've got a lot of pressure to win, like unneeded pressure, it's very hard to coach. It's very hard to play. So I've learned that you just got to kind of just roll with the punches and see what happens. I expect to be competitive in our league. I expect to be competitive in the postseason. If we can win a couple games, great. If you can't, well, then you try again. Tomorrow. I got, like I said, the foundation that we have, I'm really happy with. A lot of my guys played a lot of baseball last year with our JV and logged a lot of innings. We got some pitching back, and so who knows? We could be really good, or we could be not so good, and you'll get the same Ben Wright. It's just it is what it is.
Well, they are 17,
Yeah.
16 years.
Right.
You're
Exactly.
kids, and they don't know. And
You
this
never
is the,
know who's going to show up.
And this is the world to them, talking with Brad and the pressure on those kids. Like if they don't win it, their world crumbles, And the years that we've been really good and made runs, it was so exciting because there is no expectation of winning state titles right now for us, and there shouldn't be an expectation for anybody. If you can do it, that's great. But if you've got to live up to that, that's tough. There's a lot of pressure on that. Parents really like you, or the parents really hate you. Either way, but that's tough for a 17-year-old kid to deal with.
Yeah, and I think we're part of me. I think we're losing innocence when it comes to youth sports. I remember this is 20 years ago, sitting, and they were. This is when ESPN started showing high school football, and at that point I kind of was taken back, I guess, a little bit. I kind of thought to myself, why are we doing this? They're kids still. And I think it's just progressively gotten
Well, now you got
worse.
basketball.
It's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
And I think, you want your kids to be tough. You want them to be able to play through things. But I also think sometimes we as a society push them too much at a young age, or maybe put too much pressure on them and not allow them just to, be that kid and to enjoy that time.
We want to put them all on a podium way too soon, man. We got
Right.
I've got a good friend of mine that runs a hitting clinic. I probably told this story before, but he got called one Sunday morning, said 8 o'clock, I need 4 cages, need them set up. We got a big thing coming in, and the guy's like, all right, you need balls and the machines? No. We just need tees. My 8U T-ball team's in the World Series. We got to get ready to go. And I'm just
Oh, my.
See, this is the type of stuff that goes on with
Yeah.
travel ball and this and that. And it's really, I'm going to tell you, and I'll probably get crucified for this, but travel ball's killed high school baseball.
What?
Because kids aren't playing if they're not on the best team. And so if I can't play on that team, I'm not going to play. And it's really hurt. I mean,
Right.
15 years ago, we would compete with everybody in the area, and every night it was a war. We'd play Shepherd,
Yeah.
Beale, Mount Pleasant. You played all those teams.
I'm gonna play something real quick. It's funny you brought that up, one, because I saw something on Facebook the other day, and just want to kind of play it because I think it's important.
You can say what you want about the quality of high school baseball, and it's different in different places of the country. But to me, what was so refreshing and so fun again about getting to high school was district rivals and competing and wanting to beat your rival school and all that, and trying to work your way into the playoff.
I love my club team, but some of my best memories of playing baseball were with my club team. But it was different. The high school games, like that environment of playing for your school, for your town, right? When it was small, and I was in a small school, and we only had one.
You know,
So that's
Well, and you go on that the last young man I was talking about playing for your school in your town.
right?
Beale City travels crazy. It's incredible. Like football, well, last year in baseball, 3/4 of McLean Stadium was blue. And I told the kids that after we won it in the last 2 years, I talked a lot about looking at the crowd. Like a lot of coaches don't say that, and it's kind of weird that I said that, but you'll see people that you no idea who they are, but they're there to support you. And playing for your town, we talk about it a lot. That it's the name on the front, not the name on the back.
Herb
And,
Brooks.
Yeah, and it's the travel. We went up to Iron Mountain last year in football for the regional final, and you're standing on the field and you look over across the field, and there's 90, probably 75% is blue and white. And when you traveled for your state semifinal game,
Same thing.
I mean, we went and watched, and we were down there and we watched you guys play too. And it's a different, like, I don't know. High school sports is incredible.
you don't get that traveling on a Saturday in Grand Ledge playing at 8 a.m. on a
right
in a time limit baseball game.
And that's what I can't stress enough to these kids is like play for your high school, play for your friends, your teammates. I didn't play with Ben, but I've coached with him and coached against him. We have a great relationship because of that. I played softball with John and coached against him. And, that means a lot. I mean, the friendships that you build. Yeah, you get your friendships travel ball. I'm not saying you don't, but the friendships that you have will last a lifetime that you get with your high school teammates.
Right. John, what about you?
Well, when I grew up, we didn't have travel ball.
Well, same. Yeah, same.
You know,
I mean, we had.
I had played Legion ball.
Yeah.
And that was good ball.
Mm-hmm.
I played high school ball. That's all I do. High school Legion. That's all I had.
Mm-hmm.
And Little League. Little League was big when I was.
Well, and I think
Here-
travel ball's
here-
killing. Little League.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think travel ball's killing Little League.
Mm-hmm.
All the good players. So are going to want to play with the best players. And I think travel ball is the answer.
And I think there's a place for travel. Don't get me wrong. I think there is a place for travel ball. I look at, and I use my older boy, John knows as an example. Our boys played travel ball together for a long time. They've grown up together, but on a travel team, he was just another player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he was just on Little League. He got to be that leader, the one that other kids look to.
Yep.
So from a maturation standpoint and growing up, having that responsibility and being able, I think, is important because we talk again. It's about development as a human being, player, otherwise.
Yeah, when I grew up, we had tryouts for Little League. You either were playing the upper Little League or the lower Little League.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the difference. Now we just have Little League where everyone can play.
Yep.
And then travel ball, boom. I mean, all the.
And let me reiterate, I coached American Legion baseball for the last 10 summers, so there is a place for that. I'm with you
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that when Brad and I first started coaching against each other, Chip had a pony league or a colt league team.
Yeah.
Beale did, Mount Pleasant did, and in the summers we played those guys, and it was a battle every night, and that's what made your high school team that much better. And now you look around, they're non-existent.
I don't even know if there's a Colt League team in the area.
Right? That hometown.
Which is your freshman, sophomores?
Yeah. Some
Right.
juniors.
No,
some
you got the
freshmen,
7th and 8th grade, I think, which is juniors. And then it kind of dies.
Yeah.
And the other hard part is football has a lot of time this summer. Basketball has a lot of time this summer. Wrestling has a lot of time
all the
this summer.
sports are running into each other. So,
Yeah.
a lot
Well,
of
and that's
people are
the-
trying to
That's where the
integrate.
coaches got to respect each other and
Oh,
each other's
absolutely.
time.
And absolutely.
We can all say that, but that's not happening. Let's be real. That's
Right. Right.
Well, and that's what you try to. Like you said,
know?
we kind of have an idea of basketball is pretty much done early July, and then but back when we played, you only played baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, that was 100 years ago, but
Until two-a-days.
yeah,
That's right.
I mean, you had baseball until 2 days. Now they have basketball,
Basketball.
in gyms, and they have basketball
Now
tournaments.
kids are hitting all year round,
Yeah.
throwing all year round,
You know, in the
shooting hoops all the way around.
in the Legion tournament, the World Series runs into the first week of football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've always got kids who are like, oh, my football coach is all over me. I'm going to miss the first week. And I'm going, you're competing at the highest level of competition. I know you're not playing football, but you're doing some really good things. It's not going to hurt
You're
you.
doing something.
But
you know.
the football coach thinks differently all the time. So it's hard, but we're making it do.
Yeah.
So let's look back over your time. What's your best memory playing? I mean, or if you want to use multiple, you could probably use multiple. Best memory that you have of either playing or coaching, and why that was, Brad. And then we'll kind of actually
Yeah, let Brad go first.
Go Ben. Go Ben, and then I'll go John.
No, I mean, I was humbled. So I went to Central Michigan. I now always remember this. I walked down the field the first day of practice as a freshman, and there was back then we didn't have the 20 whatever man roster it was. There was probably 75 dudes on the field, and I looked around and I went, these guys are as good as I am. I mean, I was pretty good in high school, and I thought I was way better. I mean, I did, and I walked in there and I went, no, this is, I got some humble pie for myself, and it was a little bit of a wake up call that you got to work. And so that one sticks with me a little bit from my freshman year at Central Michigan. And the thing that I will always remember as a coach, because I did do softball, is my daughters. They won a district their junior year, and I was the head coach. And so that was pretty special for me as a family to see my daughters excel and win a district with their teammates. The state titles are always great. But seeing the biggest thing that I take away from coaching is the kids that will reach out to you. Hey, I'm going to be a dad. Invited to weddings. That kind of stuff. That's just showing up at your house and, hey, just driving by and saw you in your yard. I mean, that's the memories for me. And obviously coaching against, coaches that I will talk to. I talked to Jack Narker. It was at Shepherd for a minute, and it was pretty cool. Our first state title, Shepherd won it, we won it. And then we won it and Shepherd won it back to back. So we share that memory with each other, and so that's kind of stuff that's special, for sure.
Yeah, I've got a couple too. One, when I was a player at Elma College, Jake Boss Sr., his son's the head baseball coach at Michigan State, sat me down one day and he basically said, do you think you're better than everybody else? And I had to sit there and think about that for a minute, and I decided to say no. And he goes, good, because if you said yes, I was going to ask you to turn your stuff in. And, and I was like, all right. Yeah. And like Brad said, everybody, you get to a level and everybody's good, even at a D3 Elma College. I mean, everybody's a good player.
Yeah.
So I came from a high school where you started all the time, you played all the time, you're supposed to be the best player, this and that, and then you get there and you're like, man, these guys are pretty good. So I had a similar situation when I played college ball. When you talk about your coaching experiences, we lost in 13 in the state semifinals, and I just remember I met Denny Kriener and Doug Wabeck, who was the head baseball coach at GRCC. I met him for dinner that night, and I walked in, and Doug Wabeck looked at me and he said, somebody die? And I go, I'm not sure, Doug. I said, we just got beat. He goes, well, son, I've been beat a lot of times. You got to come back tomorrow and get after it. And the thing for me was that resonated with me, because he's right. You just got to get over it and move on. But the other part is, like, you get that far, a lot of breaks happened in your favor. A lot of hard work went in, and you get that close. You lose 1-0 in the state semifinals. You just go, one run. You couldn't get one run. It's just so those things are hard. So you don't take them for granted. And lastly, I have more fun scheduling coaches that I know, like Brad, Denny Kriener, who just retired. I've got a couple players that are now coaches of varsity programs. I try to get them on the schedule. I want to see them be successful more than me, and it's always fun to compete with the people that you look up to and those sorts of things. So that's where my mindset has gone, is I just want to enjoy the last whatever years I've got left coaching high school baseball, and really just take it all in.
Well, my memories are after the games, especially at Little League. Oh, we're gonna go get some ice cream, hang out with the dudes. You know what I'm saying? That's the memories that you have, is hanging out. You know, I mean, really, we didn't. I mean, in Little League, we didn't win that much. I mean, we played against Trumbull, you know, against Chris Drury's team.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're beating us 16-1. I think they won the World Series that year. But yeah, it's the memories, the relationship with the guys. I mean, after the games, you know, and I have another one that's like coaching Big Rapids travel ball. I mean, those kids, you know, see them grow up. Now they're juniors and seniors, and look at what they're succeeding. You know, they're winning games and having fun. You know, that's, you know, the biggest thing is watching these kids grow.
Right, and that's where, you know, you use after the game. I think about Little League, and I remember Jason Lasinski and I coaching Little League together and playing down in Lakeview, and then we'd always stop at King's Trading Post afterwards.
Oh, Brian, you gave gummies every inning, though.
Yeah, I mean the gummies too. I
mean, it's making the game fun.
Yeah, I give,
It's
you know,
like-
kid gets on base, they do something good, they get a gummy. you
Well,
know?
I see that in LSU now. They are like the softball coach they hit a home run, they got a gummy worm. I think I think that was pretty neat.
I started doing that, I don't know, a long time ago. Long time ago, and to the point where kids now on the opposite team come up to me and, did you see that hit I had? Can I get a gummy?
That's
you
awesome.
know?
I mean, of course, I had memories playing, playing
Right.
at fairs and all that, and playing high level ball. But the most fun I had was after the game with the guys. You know, even after the football games at fairs, hanging out with the guys. You know, that was fun.
And you talk, it's,
Relationship.
you know, Brad talked about the, impact with youth, and you know, Ben's talked about that too. You know, I kind of go back, when I was a school liaison, did that, but I was also coaching middle school basketball, freshman basketball for a few years too. And the relationships there, after I got to be detective, I had a former student who I coached in basketball who came to me about being molested by his uncle. Investigated it, got charged against the uncle, got him extradited back from Washington, got him convicted. But that wouldn't have happened if I didn't have that relationship with that young man, not only as that school resource, but because I coached him in basketball. Or else he probably wouldn't have come forward.
And that's what we do with being Brad. I mean, we build relationship with these kids, and we build trust so they can come to us and all that. So that's a big thing. I mean, athletes, even a kid that didn't even play sports, is having a relationship. It's fun.
Yeah, I think with all of it, it's relationships and fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes we lose the fun.
Yeah.
Still like the relationships, but that'd be advice I'd give to young coaches: is make sure it's fun and make sure you build quality relationships that are not friendships, but they're relationships.
Yeah.
With certain standards and that they
Well, you have expectations. I mean, you got to be respectful.
For sure.
Have fun, be respectful, and if the coach tells you to do it, then do it. I mean, when I was playing, I mean, when the coach tells you to do it, you're doing it. That's
Right.
respect. Some players don't do that nowadays.
No.
I mean,
You're right.
I don't
Well,
have
that's
to- I don't
society
have
as
to
a
do
whole.
that. Yeah.
That's society as a whole.
And that's pretty tough on coaches nowadays. I mean, these kids are,
They know everything.
they don't have it. Yeah.
So, I guess the best piece of advice, Brad, that you would give to a player that maybe you're coaching now?
As far as like just life,
Life as a whole, I think, because I think sports is life.
we talk a lot about that. There's a lot of life lessons. Everything you do. I mean, like, and Ben kind of touched on it a little bit with what Wabik said to him. Is win and lose with grace. And you have to move on. And that's the biggest thing is like life lessons. Something bad happens. We have unfortunately, kids get hurt. Unfortunately, we lose a game that we shouldn't have, and kids beat themselves up about it because I made an error or I struck out with the bases loaded, or so we talk about a lot of life lessons. Kids some kids may act a fool, and you may yell at them for acting a fool, but then it's like, listen, would you act like that around your family, or your parents? So just, yeah, we talk about a lot of life lessons and correcting maybe bad behavior, but also, praising the good.
But look at baseball. I mean, it's a failure sport.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's 75% failure.
And that's something I had to learn as a coach is, like, I was the young guy that was, maybe harder on kids than needed to be, and I've grown up, and these kids will beat themselves up worse than anybody.
100%, yeah.
And me adding
that's the pressure on the parents too.
It is, but it's also like, but these kids put pressure on themselves.
Yep.
It's the fear of failure, and like we tell them, you're gonna fail 7 out of 10 times in this game.
Give me a Hall of Famer.
Kids,
3 out of
that,
10,
yeah.
300.
I mean,
338.
you get one.
Oh, 338.
You get one extra flair. I mean, you get a bunt, and we preach bunting, bunt for hit. I said, because you're getting on base.
Right.
And look at the MLB guys. That's one, and I always think of Bull Durham when he makes like one extra flair, you're hitting 400, and you're in the show. I mean, and that's what we talk about. This is, and it's all sports. There's, we've been fortunate, and I remember not last year, but the year before, I had my one senior. There was only one kid that walked off the field in Division IV that was never going to lose another game. He may lose pickup game on a Saturday playing hoops or, softball or whatever, but that kid gets to walk in. Last year I had 9 of them. Smitty, he's still playing, so 8 of them that, those kids are never going to lose the last game they ever played in high school.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So.
Ben, what about you?
I remember one of your players, we played against you, Big Rapids, and he goes, wow. I guess he plays Okamas, and he said a kid hit a home run off me. I don't care. I mean, it's the end of the season. I'm gonna go tile. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them don't go on play college baseball.
Nope.
And that's perfectly fine.
That's fine.
That's perfectly fine. It is. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
In the
I think
end,
it's only
enjoy
1%
your
that play
experience.
college
Yeah.
sports. Period. So.
Well, and it's funny because I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
and his nickname was Diesel.
Yeah.
But he gave up. So the kid from Okamus just got drafted. He was the top 3 rounds. Their shortstop, and he's a stud. I mean, he's a kid that you looked at everybody on the field and went, that guy's really good. and he did. He gave up 2 home runs, and he goes, yeah. I mean, I can't use the words he used, but that happens. It'll happen. So,
Yeah.
And
I thought I just chuckled about that. I had to bring that up.
Yeah.
It's funny, but I mean.
Yep.
But I wish more kids had that.
Yeah.
100%.
Honestly, I mean,
for sure.
but not everybody can be nicknamed Diesel either. So, Ben, what about a piece of advice for any kids that you coach or maybe coach against?
Well, I just, I look at all these kids and I really just try to emphasize there are so many lessons that you can learn from athletics and specifically in the game of baseball, right? Like, they're all life lessons that the coach asks you to get a bunt down, get the job done. If he asks you not to get picked off or to steal a base, get it done, right? Or actually just go through with it. If you are a failure at it, that's okay. Just do what we ask you to do. And you've got to learn to deal with failure. And I use this statement a lot. And a lot of my kids look at me and so when things aren't going good and they're a little pouty, I just said, hey, did your best cow die? And they look at me and I go, well, if you're a dairy farmer and your best cow dies, that's a bad day. Like, you're not going to feed your family. Like, that's a bad day. So, or is it that bad? And they go, no. And they kind of giggle about it. But you just got to learn to kind of just roll with the punches, and give it your best shot. And if you get out of baseball what you put in. I mean, if you show up on the first day and you haven't thrown or swung, it may take you a while to get going, but it's all about being better citizens, better kids in the classrooms, better husbands, better, family members, those sorts of things. And if I can just have a little bit of that, Brad, I'm sure has had this happen where I've got guys that come back to me and they'll say, hey, coach, do you remember when you said this? And I'll be like, I have no idea what I said. I remember this. Do you remember when so-and-so did that and this is what you did? Like the littlest things they look up to with you. So you really got to be careful at what you do. But they're sponges looking for someone to look up to. And if you can give them a little bit of success, and have a little bit of fun, they'll cherish those moments as much as you do. So, I mean, you gotta kind of try to pause from the wins and losses and the trophies and all of those successes and just look at, were we successful in building quality young men? And along the way, we won a few baseball games and maybe a couple trophies. That was a pretty good year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
well, and that's the biggest thing that you try to get is the fear of failure.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to fail. We all know that. And there's times as a coach that I remember telling the kid that, hey, there was a 1-2, and I gave him a bunt. And I said, yeah, you know why I did that? And he's like looking at me like I'm crazy because it's foul ball, he's out. And it was because we're all going to fail at some point. But guess what you did? You didn't fail. You got the bunt down. Great job.
Right.
You know, just different things like that.
And I find that, we're talking about, kids will play for coaches that they know care about them.
Absolutely.
A lot can be said. You can maybe have a marginal team, but you're going to play beyond those expectations because
They don't
the
want to
kid,
let the coach down.
Yeah, they don't want to let the coach down. They know that you care, they'll play for you. And
Right. And that's but that's anywhere. We're talking about high school sports, but let's talk life.
Right.
I mean, if I was your employee and I wasn't necessarily fond of you, am I going to put my best effort? So there's your life lesson. It's as much the head coach as it is the player. And, some kids are just competitive and they don't want to lose, so they'll win just to spite. But that's the thing that, like you said, a hug goes a long way with these kids. A conversation. I remember Owen McKinney just signed to play at Hope this year. And we sat at my house 2 or 3 different times just talking about college and talking about, because he had offers. And had conversation. Caden Smith actually signed with Kent State. And we were hitting in the winter, and him and his buddy and I'm throwing to him, and he brought up, I don't know if I want to go. And I'm like, well, that's a conversation you need to have with your parents. But it worked out for him to where he was able to get out of his signing with Kent to end up at Central Michigan. But that's the kind of stuff where you're kind of like, kids come to you, and they're like, we're talking about with what John and I do and what Ben does with teaching and what you do is, and them coming to you and talking to you before they even talk to their parents about things.
And Brad's bringing up baseball stuff, but then they'll come to you too. He's talked about this before with life stuff.
Yeah. Relationships. That's building
I don't know what I want to do. I don't.
Yeah.
I got a job. My girlfriend broke up with me. Those sorts of things, and those are things that that. Yeah, they may be, slaps on the field a little bit, but they are listening, and they do need a little bit of support. Even things they don't bring to their parents, which is really cool. That you can help them with, and just give them a little piece of advice. And maybe you need to do this, maybe you need to do that. That is definitely what, as a young coach, you don't realize and don't think about.
Yes.
But that's in the longevity of a career. That's what becomes most important.
So, coming in this upcoming season, who is a player from another team that you guys are really looking forward to playing against to be able to have that opportunity to watch them play the game?
Geez, now I got to think of my schedule a little bit. Well, we open with Sacred Heart, and they have, I think, 5 or 6 kids going to play college ball. Grady Pratt, Scott Pratt's son, who was a teacher here in Big Rapids.
Yep, my kid's phys ed.
Yep. He's a nice player. He's going to Alma.
Yep.
And to play down there.
Okay.
So that's a team I look forward. I mean, they're our rival too. So we know we're gonna see them.
I laugh. I went to Sacred Heart, so I can laugh about this Beale City Sacred Heart stuff.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a fun group. We did pick up Central Montcalm, so we're hoping to see.
The kid that pitches there, right?
Ligament.
Yeah.
He's a pitcher?
Yeah. And I've heard great things. Never seen him throw. Heard great things about him, so hopefully we can see him. So last year we played Bay City Western. And when Tim McDonald runs his 1, who's going to Michigan State, and then throws his 2, the kid that's going to Saginaw Valley, that both play for Berryhill, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And so we're playing those guys, and I'm just like, holy smoke! So that's awesome. We played Okemos, the kid that got drafted.
Right.
We played them on a Saturday, and we're walking. I remember this. We got out of the truck because we don't have busing on Saturdays, and we're walking by their batting cage, and there's probably 30 guys standing around the batting cage, and I'm like, what? and I completely forgot about it. And walked by him, and like, holy smokes, there's a lot of they were all scouts. Just watching this kid hit in the cage, and one of the scouts was like, "Were you going to pitch to him?" I go, "Why wouldn't we? I want to see how far I can hit it too." Right. And he did. He hit 2 bombs, but it's those kind of kids. It's cool to say. I always laugh, or the kids always make fun of me because I played a year at Central basketball. And I got to play against Muggsy Bogues.
Oh yeah.
And then there was Gary Trent, who got drafted.
Yep.
They called him the Shack of the Mac.
Yep.
So that's cool. Like Diesel, who give up the home run, can save the rest of his career, whatever job he's doing.
That's the guy.
That's the dude that hit a bomb, not 1 but 2, off of me, and that's cool. I mean, that's the experience that yeah.
And it was a pretty close game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't.
Yeah, it was meaningful.
Yeah.
So,
and to bring that up, I think that you could sit here and name all the really nice high name players that have been around.
Yeah,
I know BR's got good players. Everybody around's got good players. The one thing that I remember is I had a kid a long time ago hit a home run off a lefty from Alma High School, and he came back, and it was Hayden Denslow. He came back and coached for me 2 years ago. And I said, "You remember that home run you hit against Alma?" He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, I go, "Well, that guy's in the big leagues now. His name is Keegan Aiken." I said, "Do you remember remember that back then?" He goes, "Nope." I said, "Well, there you go. You can say you hit a home run off a big leaguer." So
pitching for Baltimore.
Yeah. He played another Berry Hill guy. I give him a shout out to Berry Hill, but it's fun for me, like, to see what other teams have. We all know the big name guys and know all the lights and all the glamour, and I sit there and you try to evaluate those kids and go, they're pretty good, or they're maybe not that good. For me, it's just seeing what these guys do after high school. If they're legitimately good after high school and they can make a run, that you can go, "Hey, we played against them. Remember that?" So I go into every game just with a lot of respect for everybody. I don't try to get too hyped up on seeing people's best pitchers, because that's what you want to do. You want to see their best guys, and if you don't, well, then you better beat them, because they're not throwing their best at you.
Right.
So,
and the last one I'll bring up is Big Rapids is coming to our tournament again this year. So this will be year 3 or 4. Year 3, I think, that they've been there. And Isaac, John's son, Isaac Zacco. I mean, that kid, I don't know what he's got
that
with
weekend.
us. He raked. I mean, he was hitting the
his
ball
freshman
well.
year against us, he did the same thing. I'm going, "Who the heck is this kid?" He goes,
I know.
kid. I go, "You gotta be kidding me."
That's a bunch of the boys last year.
Be humbled about
You gotta be
it.
humbled. and that's what
There was a play he made up the middle against one of our 2 years ago he made the play, and all the kids. It's one of those where you hear all the kids in the dugout. Oof.
Yep.
And threw a kid out at first base, and he hit the ball well last year against us. And so he's another kid, that I enjoy seeing kids that love the game and
Play it hard.
Sometimes it's just that play. I mean, I go back to, this is 10, 12, longer than that maybe. I remember going to a Big Rapids High School game and seeing Todd Buckingham in center field.
Yep.
And he sprawled out for one of my most favorite plays ever that I've seen, and just a great play. And we talk about my son playing at Central Montcalm his freshman year. It was cold as heck. We're in our cars. Couple, we got Bowman's on one side and Brant's on the other, in a play at third base where guys on first and second, backhanded throw, just a nice play, touches third, throws it across the diamond, gets a double play, and everybody's honking their horns, and just one of those.
Well, and that's
just making plays.
Like we talk about is like we were played after Dante Nori last year, because he just got drafted lefty. He hit a ball down at Michigan State that it went along. As soon as he hit it, it was like gone. We knew it was gone. But just seeing kids like that, I mean, just get to
Is it Northville?
Yeah.
That kid.
It's hard though. Brad can relate to this. We both got to coach the Killian boys back in the day.
Yep.
The pressure that is on these elite athletes to perform in high school, they lose that fun. You talk about hitting in front of 30 scouts, and it's like, I don't even want to coach in front of 30 scouts. They're going to go, "Look at this idiot. What was he called?" And it's just like,
This coach don't know nothing.
yeah, this guy, what's going on? And it's like, it's very difficult. It's hard to name these kids. I love watching kids just play baseball and play hard and give it their all. And
that's something that to give advice to young coaches coming in. go watch your T-ballers play. Go watch the younger kids that are there just to play the game. You got to take away some of the outside the fence stuff because
That's how they play it.
But just let them have fun, you know. And it's funny because Central next Wednesday opens up, and we were just chatting about it last night at practice, and they said, I don't know if we're going to practice Wednesday. We're going to watch Central and play and watch support Smitty and, you know, take the whole team down and watch a game. I mean, that's the fun stuff.
Right.
Doing that team, and it's not really a team bonding, but yeah, it is. But all of my varsity guys will go down and watch Smitty play and enjoy a day off, and hopefully it stays nice weather-wise.
Be the nicest day of the week you take off, you know.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I guess we're kind of getting the wave here.
WBZX Big Rapids, by the way, it's 10 o'clock. A little after, yeah.
So, gentlemen.
We started late.
Yeah.
You did. You get some
I double
bonus minutes.
booked this morning. So I appreciate both of you guys, or actually all three of you guys coming in. Good luck to Chippewa Hills this year, Beale City, and Big Rapids, and really looking forward to watching you guys. I think we have an opportunity. Big Rapids does play both of you guys this year.
We got Chip Hills in the district.
Yeah,
We got Lunerton, Chip Hills, Cadillac, and us.
Cadillac, yeah. Yep. It'd be fun.
That's another different district. Every year it's different. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. You got to talk to the state of Michigan about this stuff.
So good luck to both of you guys on your
Appreciate it.
season.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
us.
being who you are. And
Thanks,
I
Brian.
know I think both of you guys have been on multiple times, but I think it's always
always a good time.
It's always a
We
good
appreciate
show.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it is Curry's Hot Stove League. Sheriff Brian Miller, thank you so much this morning. It's B1039. When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout or worse. Visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town. Come say cheers at Zott's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zott's, people's choice for best soup. You don't want to miss their award-winning burgers and chili as well. Originally opened in 1933 and serving it up ever since. Seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Roxanne and Doug at Zott's Bar and Grill are proud sponsors of the Signature Player of the Week for the Curry's Hot Stove League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout or worse. Visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.
Wednesday morning sun is rising, and Brian talking strong. High school tales and sports they bring, life's a story.